So, 5 ways in which Starfield will destroy Star Citizen. No joke, I think there's a lot of competition here. Let's get to it. But before I go on, keep in mind, I'm coming from a place of being a backer of Star Citizen for a couple years now. I've been playing quite a bit. I enjoy the things that are there to enjoy, and I'm critical of those things that are worth criticizing and bringing up so as to make it better. That's, the way I go about life, not just focusing on the good qualities, but especially when there are things to improve. Yeah, and the success behind Starfield will be because of that man you just saw there. Todd Howard has done a fantastic job, and I actually wrote down his quote. I was just watching an interview of his. We put so much into it. That's something he repeated twice. Twice he said that in the interview with IGN. We put so much into it. That's the big difference between Starfield and Star Citizen. Star Citizen has been something that has been focusing mostly on ship sales and marketing, and not so much on we put so much into it. There's just not enough meat. There's just not enough new content. Years go by and it's tweaking little things here and there. Starfield is something else. So, 5 ways in which Starfield will be a huge upset for Star Citizen. First of all, you're talking about a finished, complete game. That's the main thing that Star Citizen does not have. You don't have a game. You don't have a story. You don't have true role-playing elements. You wear suits and clothes and so on, but you don't develop an actual character. You don't have a backstory. You don't have a story that you're working on as you play. You don't grow as a character in this world. You're basically stuck to the same game mechanic that's been around for over a decade. So that would be one of the main obvious thing is AAA game by Bethesda, and here's where someone quickly brings out Fallout 76 was a complete failure. Well, yes, it was. I didn't even buy Fallout 76 because I knew what it was. It was one of those money grabs that never end up well for the player. So the moment in which Todd Howard said you won't have a single NPC, it would all be real people, I was like, what? You really didn't bother putting a single NPC in this game? There's no character to interact in the game? What? No, I'm not interested in this. And that's kind of the same thing that happens with Star Citizen. You don't have anyone to get involved with. You have some salesperson that is barely there. You basically interact with the screens. The NPCs are just standing on chairs most of the time, doing nothing at all. So that is the obvious big thing. You're talking about tech demo, basically, with lots of cool ships, but kind of stuck to a tech demo format right now with very little else, versus the guys that did Skyrim, the guys that did Fallout, right? Fallout 3, Fallout 4. These are the guys that created some of the best video games ever. That's Bethesda. So keep that in mind. Largest IP in the last couple decades. You have a fully AAA release game that was delayed so as to make it even better, less buggy, and so on. You have that versus the complete opposite, which is the no game alpha that is Star Citizen. Number 2, 1,000 planets. Over 1,000 planets to go exploring. That is one of the main things that hurts so much from Star Citizen is there's nowhere to explore. You buy your Carrack, in-game or with real money. You buy your ships, your exploration ships, but there's nowhere to go exploring. You have 4 planets with one little city in each, and it's more about the visuals than any actual ground to be covered and exploring and interacting with the citizens and the city itself. No, it's just a place that was created and it looks nice at times, but there's not a whole lot there for you to do. So with 1,000 planets, you can do real exploration. You can get into your ship and go to the beyond. 1,000 planets is enough for you to not quite recognize all of them. If you had like 10, 20, you wouldn't be doing all that much exploration in 10 planets. At first you go looking around, but eventually exploration means you go into a multiple day adventure. Your time, not in game. Talking about you go somewhere and you spend your time in your ship and you keep on going further, pushing the boundaries. You don't have to do any of that in Star Citizen with 4 planets and a bunch of moons, there's no exploration. Here, with 1,000 planets, that is what Star Citizen has been talking about, promising, and not actually delivering. Starfield will deliver on that. 3, the ships. The ships are a lot better than what I thought they were. I thought at first it seemed like kind of always the same Lego building. No, it's a lot more complete than that, and there's a lot more variety than that. You can go buy ships as they are. You can go pick a ship from a pirate and go sell it. You can do all of these cool things, or keep it. That in Star Citizen, well, you cannot sell ships in Star Citizen because that hurts the business of ship sales. So always corporate greed over enjoyment of the player. That's simply because it's a different business model. This is what a lot of guys playing Star Citizen don't understand. The business model of Star Citizen is selling ships. The business model of Bethesda is over here. That's selling a great game. That's the big difference. When you work on your money's being made, when you sell a great game, that's completely different from your money is being made when you sell ships in a tech demo, which is what we have in Star Citizen. With all of the good and bad, it's simply the reality of what we have. So I saw in this showcase a lot more of those ships being much cooler than I thought. The way in which you build them and how you can come. I mean, there's a freaking like a transformer, right? Kind of like a joke that one of the people there from the Bethesda showed. And that just gives you an idea of how versatile and how different you can build things. I thought it was a lot better than my first impression. Number 4, they're obviously borrowing the best from No Man's Sky, from Star Citizen, and from Elite Dangerous and a bunch of other games. And that's perfectly fine. It's always good to take from other good sources and make it even better. Combine it to make it your own and make something awesome with that. Look at these cities. Look at this. You don't have any of this in Star Citizen. Why on earth would you spend your time? That's one of the things that will be the biggest nail in the coffin of Star Citizen. And I'm talking from a place of being a backer and I want Star Citizen to do great. I just realized that it won't, because it's just stuck in this mechanic of just ship selling and not actual game developing. But this is the thing that will do it. These cities where you can actually go explore. One of the things that will change for CIG is that even though people that play Star Citizen have disposable income, what we have is a certain amount of time that we want to enjoy. Obviously, it's tailoring for a market of older adult gamers that don't care about spending a few $100 here and there. But we do still care a lot more about our time. My time will be a lot better invested in my fun, equation doing this than going again to the same 4 freaking things that I've seen all along. My expectation is that maybe in a few years, Star Citizen will be at least a shadow of what it promises it will be. But on the meantime, I'll be playing this, not Star Citizen, as soon as it releases. And every once in a while I'll go back and check it, but this is awesome. This is what we've always wanted. So this is why so many guys that are now playing Star Citizen will go into playing their Starfield. I mean, I bought an Xbox just for this. I haven't played maybe over that an hour on Xbox, and they have a bunch of games that I bought, but this is the thing that will change that for me. And I know it's the same for so many other guys playing Star Citizen. So one of the things that caught my attention, one of the Bethesda guys, or even I think it was Todd Howard himself, who said you can go ship hauling and trading. He said cargo hauling. That's the literal quotation. Cargo hauling is directly out of your Starfield, of your Star Citizen, of your Elite Dangerous, and it's gonna be one of these things. Yeah, it's cargo hauling is straight out of Star Citizen. That's now in Starfield. You can go cargo hauling across 1,000 planets in Starfield. How awesome is that? You can combine it to your own freighter thing, borrowing from No Man's Sky, the idea of the freighters. The way in which they Genius. Not going for No Man's Sky or having a billion planets. No, no, no. 1,000 good ones. That's what you want. And by good, I mean, yeah, some of these will be just mining places and resources, but maybe just a little drop of excitement and adventure here and there and random encounter in these places. That's, you're sprinkling a little bit of that a possibility in places that are mostly barren, but not quite so. That's what you'll get here. I get what he's trying to do, and it's pretty impressive, and is exactly what so many of us have always wanted. And finally, number 5, final nail in this space game coffin. That is, when I'm talking ironically, Star Citizen is not likely to disappear anytime soon. Careful. If this goes very well, if Starfield does exceedingly well, it will put a massive dent on the sales of ships of Star Citizen. Why the hell would you go buying ships for a game that has 4 freaking planets with nothing left and nothing in the horizon of, Pyro, when? Theaters of war, when? Years and years go by, you have to be very naive to keep believing this. But the final point for me is going to be number 5, mods. The possibility of players making this their own, literally, not only talking about the expansions, which Bethesda is actually very good at and very well known for. The expansions, imagine this with expansions, with game mods. I mean, it is unbelievable how much you could possibly do from this foundation that will be Starfield. Man, super excited, super happy that it's coming soon enough, because I can't wait to jump in there and try to poke around and have fun. So much more content, stories, stuff. Even the first-person shooter element is a lot more fine-tuned and developed. It's much better than it is in Starfield, Star Citizen for sure, and much better than it was in some of the earlier trailers that we saw. So yeah, and now for the other aspect, this is nothing like the groundbreaking tech that Star Citizen. Yeah, okay. You stay with that narrative, the bullshit story of it's never been done before. It's a game. Give us a freaking actual game to play. Because all of the super science, PES, whatever you want, you know what? You have it in other games. And when you start removing all of the things that just have to disappear because if not, servers crash, the greediness of not putting enough servers so as to keep things going correctly. I mean, it goes on and on. I don't want to do this into a Star Citizen trashing video, but we have to be honest about the massive difference of a company that focuses only on ship sales and very little else, and an actual legendary game developer like the one we have here. The final element of multiplayer. Someone, but it's not a multiplayer. Who the hell cares about multiplayer? Most of the time, 99% of people playing Star Citizen just want to never come across anyone, because if you're doing cargo hauling, which you will do at ease, comfortably in Starfield, maybe a random NPC pirate here and there to keep things excited, but you don't have to deal with the griefers, with the PvPers. I mean, I like the element of risk that the multiplayer aspect of potential PvP fighting, especially when after a while you get good at it and you can actually defeat another human being that's trying to pirate you or loot you or PvP you. Yeah, it's fun, it is enjoyable. Blowing the crap out of someone with your tiny ship because they thought they had the upper hand, it is entertaining. Is it something that I'll miss a whole lot? No, I mean, if it's there, great, but I'd rather have the actual AAA fully released awesome game that will be Starfield all day long over that. Guys, it's gonna be all for now. That's my take on it. Honestly, final thoughts. I hope Star Citizen survives and does well. And you know what? I wish that this is a wake-up call for the people in CIG that have some very nasty habits. Not only just in the way also in which they treat their customers, their backers, people that have deposited so much trust, and just being so horrible to backers all the time. Spectrum is a perfect example of that, banning people just for the honest, legit concerns that they have. It just makes you wonder how thick your skin can be, how far you can take being treated like that by the people that you're actually supporting, and allowing them to do what they do, and they betray you and stab you time and again. There's eventually a point where you say, you know what, enough is enough. You do you. But in the meantime, I'll be playing the crap out of Starfield as soon as it comes out, and I'll be checking on Star Citizen every once in a while to see if they finally cared enough about backers to put some actual meat on those bones that is the tech demo that we have so far. See you on our next video. Take care.